Hello, Luke. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
Hey, Rokas. So I got introduced to Andrew Tate a couple of years ago by my then 13-year-old son. Had a little look into him and bought TRW for him. He had a play with it, but didn't really get stuck into it. And then I realized just how good the material was. And I was trying to get into crypto at the time. I'd lost some quite significant pots for me playing and not knowing what to do. And started with Adam and Michael, who were both awesome. And found that I leaned towards the longer term investing style and went with
Mhm.
Adam. And started off by just following his signals, which were kind of okay, but quickly went through his courses. It took me a couple of weeks to pass the masterclass. Um, it was the hardest exam that I've ever taken. I mean, I've got 2 degrees, which are worthless. um, and I think I took the exam 16 times before I passed. I'm on level 4 now, which is where I've stopped because I've got everything I need there with Adam's continued help and support to, grow my bags, which is awesome.
Okay, amazing. Let me wind back a bit. So you mentioned you found out about the real world through your 13-year-old son. So how do you feel about your son listening to Andrew Tate?
Andrew Tate gives an absolutely awesome message for men generally, for young men in particular. I work with teenagers um, who are bright and underachieving and turn them into awesome young men. And, you know, they've been feminized and are afraid of taking risks. And my son actually said to me one day, "You sound like Andrew Tate." I didn't know who he was.
Mhm.
Did some research and thought, yeah, actually, he's giving out a very similar message to myself.
Mhm.
Um, so have actually learned a lot from Andrew Tate, which I've brought into what I do with the kids I work with.
Very interesting. So let's go along that path. How long have you been a tutor? Why did you decide to get into tutoring? And how has that been going for you?
Okay, so I worked in the City of London, writing financial software. It wasn't for me. It was soulless. Um, I trained to teach, and being a cog in a large wheel, which wasn't very effective, what didn't interest me. So I got into tutoring very quickly. I launched a business called Genie Tutors, which became a national franchise organization. I had 25 tuition centers around the country. Um, it got killed off during lockdown. Um, and, I mean, the thing that I love about tutoring is that you're helping young men become awesome. You're taking young men who are drifting, not really putting any effort in, and you turn them into absolute A grade students. Um, and I know there's a lot of messaging about university might not be the right choice for a lot of people, and I 100% get that. But the level that I'm doing, which is around younger teenagers hitting their GCSEs and so forth, that having basics in maths and English, everyone needs that. You
Mhm.
need that to be successful within the real world.
Mhm. And especially at that age, having a good influence. Because as you said yourself, men are becoming feminized. They don't have a direction or sense of purpose because of how society raises them. So having someone actually coaching them through that at that age, showing that there is a way to be masculine without maybe um, How would you say? Like there is a balance you can have with masculinity and it actually not being a bad thing as everyone else says it is. So
Why would
yeah,
masculinity be a bad thing? I mean, my prime
you
urges
can't
as a
overdo it. There's like extreme ends. So I mean, not going to the extreme, but yeah, masculine in
yeah,
itself is a beautiful thing. It's like completely necessary.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's like with everything. If you take it too far, it becomes toxic.
Yeah.
But, a man's prime urges and drives should be to protect, provide. And the thing that we demand to make us happy whilst we're protecting and provide is some respect. And
Mhm.
those three things go together. Um, so 100%. Masculinity is not inherently toxic. It's
Mhm.
it's perhaps the influences within society that make some men children toxic.
Yep. Yep, yep. Okay, so pretty good side tangent there. Now you joined the real world, as you said. You went into the crypto campus. You said you failed it 16 times before you passed, and I've heard just how difficult it really is to pass the exam. Some people spend maybe 3 months studying before they can get through. So in your case, it was probably double that time. But as I said, still took many tries. So, in terms of actually going through the whole process of learning about the crypto market, about the whole process, what was the whole journey there like for you?
It it was I loved it. I mean, I love learning new things, and it tested me every single day. Every single day, I was getting pushed out of my comfort zone. My bags would grow, and like I'm no longer dealing with four figures. I'm dealing with five figures, and then my five figures grow. And the first time I moved six figures, I mean, the discomfort that I felt was, awesome. It was like, and then like, just doing it, it was cool, and I had this in with me, inside me before I joined TRW, but being round a band of brothers within TRW, um, it just the camaraderie that you get is just amazing, which just kicks you forward and and,
Mhm.
and keeps you moving forward.
Yep, yep. You've mentioned a few times now about doing soulless things. Uh, at what point did you have that mindset shift that you can't be doing those things in life anymore? You need to be doing what you actually want to do, like following your heart or however you want to call it.
Yeah, I think doing stuff to earn money on its own isn't enough. Um, I think you have to do something that you're passionate about, something that you believe in, something that's going to do. For me, it's got to be something that's doing good. And I get my buzz from helping people step up to the next level, becoming better at being themselves, rather than trying to turn them into clones of me or clones of Andrew Tate or clones of someone else, you know, um, helping them reach Not no, not helping them reach their potential because people's aspirations are generally far too low. You actually help people see, well, I want to reach here and I'm here. Well, why are you going to limit yourself to here? You can get up here, and then once you're up here, you can keep pushing. And
Yep.
that's the thing that I like to get across to the kids I work with.
Just wondering, completely random question. Are you doing this now because, in a way, not that you were lied to as a kid, but you realized you had taken the wrong choice when you were younger, and now you want to guide other kids from doing that? As in, not let other kids do that, guide them away from that because you realize it was the wrong decision? Or has that got nothing to do with it?
I think what drives me to help these young men is that I was actually brought up in a very feminist left wing household. And I didn't realize until my early 30s that this wasn't aligned with who I was and what I wanted to be. And when I started setting up my own business, I realized I really needed to change and become that man who took action and achieved stuff and pushed. And part of what I do with the young people I work with is exactly that. I want to help them see just how awesome they can be, so they can push themselves. So that it's not just a case of, well, I'm here and I want to be here. It's about when they've reached there, realizing that they can push themselves further and then further and keep pushing and becoming even more awesome each time they move forward.
Mhm. Interesting. Um, so you realized the early 30s, as you said, and was that when you stopped what you were doing, or did it take you longer until you went on this path?
That's an amusing story. So I actually set up my first business while my ex was pregnant with my first child.
Mm.
And I could just see that she couldn't comprehend that I was earning money, more money from what I was doing off my own back in my business than teaching. And it just stressed her and filled her with anxiety. So I actually worked myself trying to do what had become more than a full time job in my new business and doing my teaching in schools at the same time. And I did this for probably around 6 months, earning absolutely awesome amounts of money, before I ended up getting palpitations and my doctor told me to stop working so hard. I was
Uh,
going for days without sleep just to get everything done. Um, but you do these things when your wife's pregnant. You do stupid things in order not to make them
mhm,
feel anxious.
mhm. Wow. Um, and how did that turn out, what you were building?
Well, yeah, I mean that was the business that ended up growing to um, being a national business with 25 tuition centres. It was
Mhm,
pretty successful. Um, it got killed in COVID. It wasn't my first business attempt. I mean, I think this is one of Andrew Tate's messages: is that you've got to try something again. I think it was my third attempt at a business. And something different happened with this. It was like I started, and within days I'd got my first customer. I did
mhm,
a launch, and I got another 8 or so customers, and by the end of that month I had 20 customers, and then 3 months later I think it was around 50 customers. It was,
mhm,
you hit this, you hit a note, or you resonate with people, and it just starts happening, and then you
mhm,
just go crazy busy, and rather than trying to think, what do I do to get customers, to God, how do I manage all these customers? It's a different problem, but a better problem to have.
yeah, yeah. And why did they close down? Was it because it was in person? Were you
Yeah,
not able to pivot online? How comes that was the situation?
yeah. I mean, it was in person.
Mm.
I tried to move online, and some people just didn't want to go,
Uh,
and it was
got it.
very difficult to manage that transfer. And I mean, I'm an old guy. I'm over 50 now. I don't do social media. I don't enjoy social media. I never have.
Mhm,
So I'm trying to learn how to use social media now to market what I do.
mhm,
And that's been a really hard journey. I mean, I don't, no, I wouldn't have got where I am now without the help of TRW.
mhm,
Um, I, th- I think I have the skills and knowledge how to do it now. I mean, my first videos were boring. They were never going to do anything. But I'm getting Um, about 1,000 likes on every single video now. I'm about 3 weeks in, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so it's happening. It's happening,
Mhm.
and I just need to stick at it now. Changed a load of the hashtags last week, and that's improved the
Mhm.
number of people who are actually following my account now.
Mhm.
So I've got plans to make other changes. I've started watching one of the Pope's courses again,
Mhm.
one of Dylan's courses again, which is giving me more pointers on what to do. So it's just a case of like continuously playing. I just have to make sure I don't give up. What I'm
Mhm.
delivering is resonating. It's just not resonating with enough people. I'm not reaching enough people yet, but I will get there with that same determination that I used to pass the masterclass in the investing masterclass campus.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's return to the investing masterclass then. So, what if you had continued trying to learn crypto online without the help of the real world? How different would it have been compared to having the resource that you had?
The cryptoverse is just full of scammers, and I I'd probably be doing stupid things. I look at my friends who are dabbling in it, and they're doing stupid things. Um, so I make every decision now with um, with systems, and I follow my systems, and it's just changed what I do. And I think the key is I respect Adam. I still listen to what Adam's saying because when it comes to crypto, he's better than I am, and I acknowledge that. But I can back up what Adam is saying with my own systems, and they're not usually far apart. And so, yeah, I mean, I'd be losing money basically if I hadn't got Adam. So I owe everything in crypto to Adam.
Amazing. And would you be comfortable saying the numbers that you put in and so far have um, gone up to?
Sure, I put in around 80K. I missed the first part of the bull run with the majority of that 80K, but I've still pretty much doubled it.
Amazing. And then how different is that to if you were just to find out about Bitcoin and have put in the money? How is it different what you're doing now to that?
So the biggest thing is about your mindset. What I've learned is when I was setting up a business, I had to change my mindset. I thought I had an awesome mindset, and I did, about taking action. But when I started investing in crypto, I realized that my monkey brain was giving me the wrong signals. And Adam teaches you, and quite explicitly in many of his rants, that your monkey brain is not telling you to do the right thing, and you've got to detach yourself. Um, I'm pretty much now at the point, which is why I'm struggling to tell you exactly what I've got in crypto. I don't actually know
Hmm.
because I'm not interested in how much I've got in there. I just want to know from my systems what's happening in the market so that I can adjust my portfolio. What I've got is irrelevant. It's the moment I'm in. And detaching yourself from that anxiety that you have over the pots of money that you've got in crypto is probably the hardest thing to do when learning crypto. I mean, building the systems, it's not easy, but changing the way you think is even harder. And
Mhm.
that's the most important thing that you will learn from Adam if you join the
Mhm.
investing campus.
Yeah. And yeah, the money you put in required quite a lot of faith to actually invest that much. A lot of people wouldn't be able to do that if they didn't have the knowledge on how things actually work and all the systems that are in place. So, in your case, with the systems, can you reveal anything for what you've implemented? Like what kind of systems, what has worked for you, and just anything on that end?
Yeah, I mean, I've just copied Adam. Yeah, Adam's systems work. Why reinvent the wheel? I mean, he's done 10 years of investing, and I jump in and I've been doing it for a couple of years. Why would I be so arrogant to think that I can do it better than Adam? So when I say copy, I'm using his techniques in order to build my long-term systems, my medium-term systems, but there are my own indicators in there. You know, that's my own things. I've gone out, understood the indicators I'm using, the strategies I'm using, and I'm building something that I'm happy with, that I feel I can use. And I'm constantly going in there, tweaking and updating. One of the things that I really find frustrating about being in TRW is that I'll start chatting to these guys, and I've only come across with one guy so far who's older than me. Most of the guys are 30 and below. Is sometimes I really want to help these kids, because to me they are kids, and help them see where they're making mistakes. And you can't really connect within TRW like that. Um, you know, it's everything's bite size, um, short messages. You know, the people that I have met mainly at the gym who are in TRW, we talk a lot more, usually in the sauna. And
So how did that happen? How did you meet someone from the real world in your gym?
just, you've got what, hundreds of thousands of people in TRW. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm going to meet people who are in TRW. You know, I talk to everyone. I mean, it's one of the things about me. I'm I will be upfront and in your face, talking stuff. Can I say talking crap? You know, and you know, so you get talking, and then you know, you mention stuff, and you end up, you find out you're aligned, and then you find out, oh, we're both in TRW.
Yeah.
You know,
And you mentioned sauna. So yeah, when I used to be in UK, I'd go every evening to a place that had also a gym and a sauna. And sauna
Mhm.
is a surprisingly great place to speak to people. Obviously,
It
if you're
is,
open for it, but I got to know so many people through those
yeah.
saunas. So yeah,
But you see, like, if you're going to man up and do a sauna, you can't just go and sit in the sauna and enjoy the heat. You've got to be getting out and taking the cold plunge or the cold shower.
yeah,
Otherwise, you
yeah.
aren't doing it properly.
Yeah, there was a cold plunge over in my place as well. So yeah, used to go there
Did you
pretty
do it?
often. Of course, I used to take
Excellent.
cold showers for 2 years straight. So yeah,
Excellent. Excellent.
I'm fine with cold. All right, and then let's see. Uh, the systems you built followed Adam. Um, so going forward, what are your plans? If you were to lay it out, short term, medium term, long term, what goals do you have? Aspirations, plans, everything.
I want to get out of the UK. The UK's gone crazy. Um, and I'm planning to move probably to South America. So it's really important to me that I turn my lifestyle business that I have into something which I can take with me, which is why it's important to me to make my TikTok and Instagram channels work. That's the Rebel Tutor. So I'm also starting this new business with my friend who is a deca millionaire. He's really excited. He's actually quite good behind the camera. So, like, I've got the first footage from him, which I'm going to turn into some videos to get that business started next month. So that's really exciting. So yeah, my aspirations for the future is to continue being entrepreneurial, to continue spending time investing, but I'm going to reduce the amount of time that I spend on investing. It's been a hard choice to make that, but I need to give more time to making money in the real world, making real money, because I'm much more of a long term investor than a medium term swing investor. So, yeah, it's really exciting going and moving to probably a hotter country, a different language, um, and really excited about it.
Okay, amazing. And then again, going back to the systems, because it's a little more I want to ask for people who are unsure again about just what if I had invested in crypto myself? Like, why do I actually need to join the real world and go through all this crypto course? Maybe again, that's their mindset. Um, how does the system make you more money than if you were to just put in money into Bitcoin?
Look, I mean, a lot of the guys who are probably listening to this are thinking, should I join the real world or not? And they're dabbling at this, they're trying that, but they're not focusing in on anything. Look, when you hit the real world, jump in some campuses, meet some of the professors, and see what chimes with you, and jump in. And then once you've found something that chimes, it's not going to be easy. It might feel easy to start with, but to actually achieve it, you've got to go through the pain. And there's a great bunch of people in the real world who will kick your ass when you feel like giving up, who will push you on. But if you don't go through that pain, you're just going to be another NPC who drifts along, trying this, trying that, getting scammed here if you're into crypto. Because frankly, I think most of the people who are out there in crypto as influencers are basically scamming you. And I was so lucky that the third person that I hit was Adam.
Mm.
And the systems, they're important, but it's more about you finding what chimes with you, what resonates with you, and sticking with it and being determined, going through the pain,
Okay.
doing the things that are uncomfortable. It's easy to do the things that you're good at or the things that you feel comfortable doing. But the people who really win are the people who can step up and do the thing that's uncomfortable.
And on that note, would you say the same thing, or would you have anything else to add for if people are unsure about joining the real world because they're thinking, what if they might get scammed for $50? Like, what advice do you have to those people?
If you're worried about losing money and joining the real world, whether getting scammed or trying out something and losing some money on it, then just stay stuck, because I can guarantee you 100% you're going to try stuff, you're going to lose money, you're going to get scammed, whatever. But the thing is that if you don't try it, you're going to stay stuck in the paradigm you're in. And frankly, you might feel comfortable in that paradigm, but it's probably pretty shitty.
Hmm. Yeah, well said. Okay, so now if people want to find out more about you or see where they can contact you, where can they find you?
It'd be great if you can contact me on the Rebel Tutor. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, and maybe like and follow a few of my videos.
Okay. So we'll add those to description of video. So anyone is interested, check in the description. Yeah,
Thank
Luke,
you.
thank you for being open to share your story. Very interesting how things have turned out for you from your childhood until now, how you've evolved as a person, all the things, the different things you're doing with businesses. Super, super sad. Like how many businesses got destroyed during lockdown, and people
Mm,
are just completely oblivious to it as well. Only someone
yeah.
like you truly understands the impact of it. So, but that's
Mm.
a whole other thing in itself. But again, now that's led to new hardships for you, new challenges, and here you are building something else entirely and on a new stage of your life. Maybe you hadn't had discovered this stage if that didn't happen. So in a way, ended up being a positive. But yeah, super cool to see everything you're doing, everything you're into, and I wish you all the best in future with all of it.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, one of the things that I can add to it is that look, I'm 50. I'm probably older than most of you guys, and like I'm picking myself up at 50 and doing it again. And this is the thing about being a man. It's about challenge, stepping up to whatever challenge you're faced with because I'm only worth what I've achieved in the last 6 months, and you can't dwell upon what was or what might have been. It's about what you do next that's important.
Very well said.